Rock and roll Chicago, rock and roll Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, gonna rock the city, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best year around.
Hey, this is Paul Martin
and Ray the Roadie
for the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast. Well, Ray, how's your day?
It's wonderful. How's your day?
My day was okay. Did I tell you we're dog sitting?
Are you really?
Yeah. Two little like Pekingese or something.
No.
Or, I don't know. I think they're Pekingese. I don't know what they are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My wife's sister, Kim's sister, went to Florida for a couple of weeks, so we said we'd take care of the dogs.
Cool.
Yeah.
You want to watch Ryder?
I don't know if he'd get along with these. Well, he gets along with everybody.
He does. He loves all people, all animals. He's digging the winter, man. He's digging all the snow.
He's about 30 times the size of these dogs, though.
yeah. He's about
they could ride on his back.
Yeah. He's like 660 pounds or something.
So today we're meeting with the band My Metal Heart, also known as the Bald Guys Band, I guess, right?
The Bald Guys in
Did you feel out of place at all because you have hair and none of us do?
I did. I did. It was a little embarrassing. I thought about running and getting the snips and cutting it off, but I held back.
But they were a lot of fun, and we talked to two Dans and an Alan, and then there's two Mikes in the band as well. And we found out that they've been rocking for a few years out there, rocking and rolling, and kind of changed their image a few years ago. Yeah,
they had a previous identity.
Yes, they did.
Very interesting story behind that, which you will hear if you stick around.
That's right. Well, let's find out about that story and find out why they don't have any hair.
Okay.
Why I don't have any hair.
Yeah, I've got it all.
Yes. Thanks.
I kept everybody's hair. All righty. Here's My Metal Heart.
Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're talking with Dan Volpe and Alan Hannapel of My Metal Heart. And hopefully be joined by some of the other guys too soon. But how you guys doing today?
Good evening, sir.
We are doing well.
Good deal.
Yeah, maybe the other guys are like stuck in the snow or something.
Right. I'm sitting here next to my space heater like I have for the last year.
Yeah.
Down in a basement, just getting through, working from home and, taking the time off that we did literally since March of all the gigs that we had for the summer, everything. It's been quite a hiatus.
Did you have a lot of things booked?
We did. And we had more coming in that were all temporarily pending. And then everything just started falling apart in a row. It just chronologically just collapsed. So, us as well as a lot of the other guys that in town were using some of the same booking agents, we probably all got some of the news at the same time. Some of the clubs were just closing up, putting a good fight. But, after a while having to close just based on either pressure or government pressure or just, responsibility, I suppose. You get too many people in a room. Maybe they felt responsible. I know that on our side, that was certainly one of the aspects for dropping some shows during the height of all the pandemic, I guess we'll call it.
Did you guys have any outdoor shows scheduled?
We did. But,
and those all got canceled too?
Yeah, with when you got a closure of a lot of the people that were probably either volunteers or some of the, JCs or some of the people that are involved in the fests, they can't get together to plan any of that stuff. Sponsors aren't going to, put money out ahead if they don't even know if the fest is going to go on. So, eventually a lot of that stuff just wasn't funded correctly, or people didn't want to take responsibility for, ensuring whatever they could have been liable for during that time. So a lot of stuff just kind of closed up.
Did you get any bookings? Did you play at all over the summer or no?
Alan, what did we do?
Geez, we did a 4th of July, didn't we? Wasn't it 4th of July at Sundance Saloon in Mundelein?
That was outside, and that was well attended. And, was an interesting time. It was everybody wanted to have a great time, but you felt like everybody was kind of looking at each other that, maybe mentally distancing from each other, but you get a bunch of people drinking in a large area and they're all on top of each other. And, it just ended up being, it ended up being a great and fun time, and nobody ended up getting sick out of it that we know. But, it's just, you had that level of where you're playing during something that you just don't know what's really going on. Right. Nobody's got the right information, and, everybody wants to have a good time and they know how to have a good time, but they're looking at, over their shoulders. It was interesting though. But, that was like 6 bands from, 12 till 12 and outside during the height of everything. And really it went off without a hitch. It was amazing. What
about now? What have you got booked for the summer?
There's a couple, we're waiting on contracts. So a couple fests are knocking. We've got some other fests that had been, we did a live stream for a fest that, did virtual shows. And then their plan is to move forward with, having their fest. And, part of getting into their event was that they promised, a slot on their fest. So, we jumped at that first of all, because we didn't have that contact before, but it was, that was a very well done event. You may see that online too. That's Huntley Fall Fest. So, that was something that we were definitely willing to go out and play. And we played in front of nobody, which was a very odd thing to be in a room, finish off, say an Iron Maiden song and, silence. You just gotta go to the next, the next song, tear it up and make it happen. I could sit there and just play guitar, but Dan, who has joined, I see that he's connecting audio now. Here's a guy who is, front and center for how the band energy gets, you put out in the English language towards everybody that's going to sit and watch us. And, he's got at the end of, like I said, every song, 0. There's no clapping, no whatever. Get back on it, make it seem like you're in front of 1,000 people and do the next song. So it was
it's hard to keep the energy up.
It was interesting. We did. We actually, I think we pulled upon each other for a lot of that show, and it came off a well-oiled machine, but certainly weird to not have the reaction. You got a bunch of people quiet sitting behind cameras or the soundboard, but that was, we had opted to play in front of nobody at that one. But so that's one of the fests that's coming up. We haven't, I rely on the contracts to say that, yes, I've got a show, but, that's in the works. But, coming up right now, next month we have, or I should say this month, we played the 6th at Sundance Saloon in Mundelein. Coming up March 20th, we're at the Brat Stop. And the 27th will be at MT Barrels in Schaumburg. So, things are coming together. Those are those are some of the largest rooms that we pull in. And, those guys, they've supported us during a lot of times, and we're kind of happy to go back in there and get a thirsty crowd and just, take it to them.
Yeah, it's probably tough. You don't know right now if they'll be at full capacity or not. And obviously, I understand the point where you want to book the band and book the clubs and book the places to play, but then you're leery on the other hand of what may or may not happen. So, yeah, we've experienced Sundance during the pandemic, and they'll put a 20 feet in front of us, they'll put a line out that says do not cross. So even if there's a crowd that's drinking and want to get up to the front of the stage and rock and roll, they're still going to stay past that point and not come near us, because us being the center of everybody wanting to come, up to that puts us at a slight risk as well. So But everybody's really respectful, and we've gone through that room 3 times now under these circumstances, and he's really responsible toward us. What everybody else does on their own, if they're all, breathing on each other or whatever, we're at least taken care of up on the stage. I'm not sure how it is out in the crowd. I know he makes quite an effort to make everyone sit down at their tables and stuff, but it's always hard to stop the drunks. It's tough. Yeah, it's tough to stop people from dancing.
Yeah.
So I see Dan has joined us.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm the guy at the microphone. Everybody shut the F up. Thank you.
Hello, Twin Lakes Dan.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well.
Doing good.
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 I haven't heard a thing. So
That's okay.
Well, good. Well, they were talking about you, but we cut them off really quick, you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
So,
Sorry.
I was going to say, tell us about how the band got started and where it all began with My Metal Heart.
Sure. I'll take it because I did it. And it's, I'd always wanted to get back to playing the stuff that I started listening to back in the, the radio station was then for me all the time, WVVX. The show was RPM and it was only on from, 7 o'clock till maybe midnight. And then you'd wake up in the morning after falling asleep to it. And it was a Mexican radio station. So I always thought I woke up in Tijuana after, too much alcohol or something.
The worm.
It was, it wasn't a very far-reaching, powerful radio station, but the audience that could get it, by jamming a hanger into the end of your boombox antenna, that's where we were introduced to, some of the new Iron Maiden that was coming over, the Def Leppard, the Metallica stuff, a lot of the thrash stuff that ended up coming through. Yngwie, a lot, you just wouldn't have heard of any of that stuff on the Loop or MET or any of the other stations around here. So everybody just, that had any certain length of hair probably was listening to the VVX show. Well, when that went down that was only open from 81 to 91, but that was the formative years of me learning guitar and, hanging out at the Thirsty Whale and, seeing the shows that were coming through town. I always wanted to do something about that. Had some contact information to some of the jocks that used to be on that show and organized a set list with those guys and formed a band around it. And we called ourselves VVX instead of WVVX because we were not the radio station. I didn't want people thinking that, it had to do with them, but it was a nod to that whole thing. So we did a tribute band, but a tribute band to a radio station. That was a long climb up from 2010 to 2015 of trying to sell a rock band in a pop town. The booking agents all kind of had a hard time with it. Some of the clubs thought that, we'd be killing goats on stage or something like that. I have no idea. They just didn't know how to market. We weren't playing metal in the sense that there was, it was tough though, but they didn't know how to market a band that they thought that we would be screaming, yelling, negative, Satan, whatever people's, assumption, that work at a fest or something like that, whatever they would think that a metal band coming in would do. That's what, that really was a long climb up to get to the point where about when we ended VVX, with Dan joining, with Alan joining, and Mike, the bass player, it ended up being that we also kind of just were burnt out with that fight. We did a 360 on the look. We have got the black suits, all in black suits. We all coincidentally, the best guys that ended up staying in the band were bald. The one guy that joined, Mike, who had hair, chopped his hair off one Christmas for us, pulled his hat off and said Merry Christmas. And he was bald then and still has, no hair right now.
So you're saying I could be in the band, right?
You can be in the band. We've always been looking for a cowbell player.
There you go. I can do that.
Well, no chance for me, I guess.
There's still a chance. We got buzzers. You can keep the beard. But so the band moved forward with a complete change of the look, the idea of it, the name, management at the time, went into I don't know how to say what we rebranded ourselves at, but we didn't miss a beat with our crowd because we really kept the same songs. Dio, Dokken, Rat, Ozzy, Metallica, Priest, anything that we wanted to play that was really in that genre. Maiden. it's just where we're at now, all these years later from, 2015, starting with that, My Metal Heart till now. And it's grown. I mean, we've got a fantastic crowd. Everybody is between, 30 and 65. Anybody that likes, loud guitar, great guitar solos, great singing. A lot of the, we don't have to sit there and spoon feed the A-list songs out all the time. We can kind of go into our deep cuts because, we all liked all that stuff back when we used to have hair. But anything goes from that genre. We'll take on, some slightly heavier stuff if we want to, and, we'll go lighter. We'll do, ballads and, Dan and I do the duet for the Lita and Ozzy song, and I do the Lita part. So, it's anything goes, but it's, that kind of describes the band in a way. We're just a, good tribute to the style and the genre, but we're not a tribute band.
So who followed you from VVX to My Metal Heart?
The whole crowd. Everyone came along with us. Oh, you mean in the band?
No, in the band, yeah.
So Dan was in both. Alan was in both. Mike, the bass player, was in both. And Mike, well, there was a guitar player, John, that was in VVX that moved over to My Metal Heart. And then we parted ways, and Mike, who's in the band now, the other Mike, is pretty consistent with staying with us on that then.
I see. So it's pretty much been the same group of guys. You just changed the name and
and one member really, and it's worked out. It's like, totally seamless to the crowd. They still get a lot of the songs that they wanted to, but we're, in a way, we're not responsible for any of the VVX stuff anymore. In the terms of, I guess we couldn't brand ourselves on that because we were branding ourselves as just that music from just that radio station pretty faithfully. But My Metal Heart can do anything that we want. We tend to stick towards the 80s stuff, but we've moved into, and have tried Disturbed or Alice in Chains and some other things, that we all kind of looked at each other and said, we got to try this. And, whether the crowd likes it or not, that usually dictates what's going to stay in the set list.
So you've been able to play venues you weren't able to get into before?
We got into a lot more fests. It's like some of the Kenosha stuff opened up really well for us.
It's the visual.
Maybe it is. Maybe we just look good in the
really
suits.
Is. I think the suits, to put on the super suits, and nobody has a real identity, and then they accept us playing that because they're really not sure, if they've never seen this before, exactly what we're going to play. They've heard it, but they still don't know, and they see how you're dressed, and they kind of go, "Wow, what's going to happen?" And then that happens, and they're like, "Oh my God, these guys are crushing it," and they're all dressed classy with wise ass shoes.
Yeah. I think they think that we're going to play like Lawrence Welk or something when they see a bunch of guys in suits out there.
Or Cab Calloway, like a blues review, stretch the stage and black and white coming at you like Blues Brothers. And then it's just, no, it's Iron Maiden, full blast. Here you go.
One thing I think that has really helped, and I try to tell any booking agent or potential club or anybody that might be interested or in hiring us, I tell them, I reiterate what Dan Volpe said about, we're not the angst, we're not, goat killers, we're not sacrificial. We're just wanting to have a good time and have the audience have a good time. And what I say, we played multi-platinum 80s hits. And it's true. We do. So what if it's not George Michael or Prince? Nothing against those artists, but we don't play those artists. We play multi-platinum Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Van Halen, and all good time stuff. Very melodic, very well done, and it's a good time for everybody. That's really what we aim for.
Well, if your audience appreciates it and your crowd is growing, that's who you're playing for. Like we said, playing a virtual show isn't the same. You can't lock in with the crowd, but if you've got a crowd and an audience that you can lock in with, you've accomplished something. And it helps.
Agreed.
It helps generate your energy.
Yeah, we've been lucky. There's, like I said, we're a rock band in a pop town. The biggest bands in town are all playing, it used to all just be, we used to call it the Jesse's Girl syndrome. Everyone's got to play Jesse's Girl. Everyone's got to play Summer of '69. Everyone's got to play, Bon Jovi, or, the hardest they'll go is Bon Jovi, and we come in with this niche rock that is completely of a different era. And, those people were all waiting around for a band. We weren't a tribute band, but they, I think that people wanted to be able to hear a representation over the course of the night of all the stuff that they liked, instead of, say, Metallica all night, or Megadeth all night, or Iron Maiden all night. It's the hardcore fans, if they really want that stuff, there's several bands in town where they can go and get all that stuff. But if they want a little bit of everything done right, then we're your band.
Done right. You said that right. Done right.
Exactly.
Or should I say done well?
Well, done as close as you can get to the recording, because people expect, if they're going to hear a cover band, you're going to play their favorite songs that they bought the albums for, that they listen to, and they remember that cut. So if you can get it right there you go. That's what they really, really want. The best replication they can find is what they're looking for.
And we're the hardest on ourselves that you could possibly be. So if it doesn't get past us for whatever reason, it's not going to get on stage. We may experiment to see how people like it. Like, say, for example, when we tried that Disturbed song, very heavy song. We didn't sell it right. We didn't sell it right to ourselves, but yet we still brought it to the stage because we bothered rehearsing it a bunch of times. You get it on stage and people are kind of looking at you like, well, I'm not sure exactly how Disturbed follows Dokken and goes into Iron Maiden. That felt kind of weird. So we try it another night and move it in a different spot, or maybe in the earlier part of the night where people are just getting their drinks on. And it didn't work there. So, the song gets dropped. It doesn't get brought back up again. And we're constantly in a rotation of songs like that, where we're just testing to see, is this a first set song, a second set song, opening song, an ending song? What song are you going to play to make all the girls go to the bathroom and give them a second to take a breath? Usually that's a Rush song, right?
Yeah. And it just seems like there's even could be like, a couple songs really work at one place, but don't work so well in another. It's all marketing. It really is. I mean, as silly as it sounds, we're in a cover band to have fun, have a good time, and have other people come and see us and have a good time. But there's marketing involved. It's a business.
Oh, it's definitely a business.
Come and see you,
Yeah, it's definitely a business, and you're out there, like you said, to have fun and do what you do. But it goes back to playing to the crowd and reading the crowd and going, okay, maybe this song isn't going to work tonight, or this song will work tonight, or this song always goes over, or whatever.
Right.
It's the beauty about now, people playing and us getting back to playing, and a lot of the bands playing more and more at the moment. It's people are hungry because they haven't been able to go out and see all these bands that they wanted to see.
Right.
So right now, whatever you throw at them, man, they crush it. They're so starved to get on that dance floor, and they can't still with the barriers they got. And man, I'm telling you, they want to break it.
Yeah, well, hopefully that'll end soon, but we have to keep our fingers crossed, that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I actually, because I'm a teacher, I just got the first COVID vaccination last Thursday.
Have you been able to practice or rehearse at all?
Yeah, we just did this last show a couple weeks ago at Sundance Saloon. That was the first time we played since Halloween.
Yeah.
I mean, so we said we got to rehearse a couple times. We got a little rust to brush off. Yeah. So we did, and it was something how the second rehearsal was much better and tighter and flowing than the first rehearsal. So we ended up doing a really good show on whatever night that was, when it was freezing cold and snowing.
Yeah, it was.
That's every night lately, isn't it?
We did. So when everything was first starting to lock down, we have a really good Facebook group. And a lot of these people are very interactive. So on the Facebook fan page, we posted, hey, tell us your favorite song. Send us something about all of your favorite songs. We took the list of that and we made a poll on that page and let everybody vote what they wanted. And all the songs that started moving towards the top, some of them were totally surprising to us because we wouldn't have guessed that they'd wanted it. But, in the end, all those numbers that were the top 20, or was it top 50? I think it was top 20.
Yeah, we took like 20.
20.
Yeah, we learned them all. We just, we grabbed them all. We wanted to see what they sounded like under our belt. Some stuff didn't work right off the bat. There's, for as pretty as Dan is, singing super, super high alto stuff, World of Fantasy from Triumph. It just it didn't sound like us. It just, for some reason, hey, you're pretty. I said, you're pretty.
That was good.
Some
I
of those
laugh
songs
every night we go to do a show because I look at the set and go, yeah. Okay.
We put him through his ringers. So, some songs aren't fair to make him do other stuff. Just was, even though it rose to the top, it really was really tough to kind of figure out how it fit in our set list. So that was the first portion of the downtime. And then we just, we spent time just rehearsing all the new stuff. So we came out of the gate, for a couple shows with really all new material. We had totally revamped our set list and gave everybody what they were asking for. And then, everything just collapsed at that point. So it was like, so here we got this great new set list that we aren't really playing out. Come this last show on the 6th, we did it about half and half. There was enough new stuff in there that, the people asked for. And then a lot of the stuff that, our standards that everybody wants, the Dio and the Maiden, and a lot of the stuff that they know us for sounding better at.
Let's take a time out here for a second. Hey, Ray, what are you doing?
I'm getting my bluegrass on. I'm playing my banjo, except there seems to be something wrong with the strings.
Well, Ray, GHS makes strings for all types of instruments: electric and acoustic guitar, bass guitar, mandolin, ukulele, and even banjo.
Then I'm getting new GHS strings and my banjo will sound better.
I don't think it's the strings, Ray. GHS are easy to play with rich, full balanced tone, available in many different gauges.
Great for all musical styles, so if you play
with the best. Play GHS strings. So Dan, you play guitar, right?
Yeah.
When did you start playing guitar? When did all this come about to get the bug to start playing?
My brother, just lots of volume. Always had big speakers in his room. Closed the door, but the house was always rocking with UFO, Frank Marino, Led Zeppelin.
Dreams, yeah.
Everything. I mean, lots of Black Sabbath. And so he bought a guitar, and when he would leave the house, I would pick it up and play it, and he would come back and say, "Did you touch my guitar?" "No, I didn't touch your guitar." Eventually he just sold it to me. And so in 1981, I was on my way. I just bought the guitar that summer. Walking down the street, a guy was walking past me that I'd known from school. I'm like, "Hey man, I just got a guitar." He's like, "Hey, I just got a drum set." And the next day, and for 3 years straight, we rehearsed. It was crazy. And I still play with him. It's a guy I've known since kindergarten technically, but that's another band that I play with that we could talk about that some other time, but it's been going forever for me. I just live and breathe guitar.
Now, Alan, you play drums.
Right.
And how did it all start for you?
Really through the school. I remember in third grade, all the third graders took this like music aptitude test, and all the other kids got like 50s. They scored like 50s and 60s on it. Now, I don't remember the details of the test. It was probably like what pitch is higher, which tempo was faster. I don't remember. All I know is everybody else got 50s and 60s, and I got a 94. And so they saw some kind of potential musical aptitude in me. So fourth grade, it was the time to join school band. And I didn't really know what instrument I wanted to play at that time. And the one lady who wasn't very nice in one way said to me, "Well, you don't really have a good embouchure to play trombone and trumpet and clarinet and stuff like that. Maybe we could play drums." And she was very insulting to me about my embouchure, But then she did a total about face because she asked me to like alternate between my right foot and my right hand. And I couldn't do it. They both hit at the same time. She's like, "Well, you're a cute little boy. I'll let you try to play drums anyway."
Then that's after
Dude, I can't wait till rehearsal. This is going to be awesome.
Right. So
and so that's only Alan's first
I'm
audition
you
for the
little
band.
boy.
So I joined school band. I remember getting the snare drum and getting the first book. And I look in this book and I was able to figure out on my own what quarter notes were, 8 notes, 16th notes, all that stuff, how to read it, how to play it. The only thing I didn't understand in the book was R and L. I didn't know that meant right and left hand. So when the band director got together with the percussionists, oh, that's what it is? Okay. We got together the next time. I'm all the way through book 1. Everybody else is still on page 5. So I just flew with it and I loved it. It was something I really gravitated towards. Then I got my first drum set when I was like 7th grade, 8th grade, something like that. Took drum lessons from a guy for a long time who just kicked my butt. I remember going to his house. He had a drum set in his basement, a big PA in his basement, and he would intentionally not turn the PA up quite loud enough while I was trying to play with these songs. So if I was right on the song, right with it, I couldn't really hear the song. But as soon as I would get off of it slightly, I could hear it. He could have easily turned it up and made it easier for me, but he didn't. And I thank him for that still to this day, because that really helped with timing. Obviously that's the drummer's number one priority is timing and keeping the band in time. So, I was in band, orchestra, jazz band, majored in music and education in college, got to tour the world playing jazz.
Did you play anything else besides the drums?
I took up piano also because I knew I needed to be, if I wanted to be serious about music, I had to do something melodically. Plus, playing in band and orchestra requires you to play like bells and xylophone and marimba. So I took some piano, took music theory. And then when I was in college, I started taking vocal lessons also. Yeah, so that's pretty much my upbringing in music. I loved heavy metal and hard rock since I was a little kid. I remember first seeing Peter Criss of Kiss and was just like, wow, and then of course all the other great drummers back then, Ian Pace of Deep Purple, John Bonham, of course the jazz drummers like Buddy Rich, Gene Krupa. Yeah, it was just one of those things. And one thing I remember just before when VVX, before I joined it, I heard about VVX and I saw VVX a time or two. I was just so impressed with how well the band did what they did. And they gained such a great reputation. And then Video Guy told me, I heard that VVX needs a new drummer and bassist. And I said, well, I know Dan Volpe, so I'm going to reach out and message him. And I basically messaged him and said, let's talk. Bring me in for an audition. I'm going to be your next drummer. Because nobody was going to take that spot. That was mine. And I knew.
Woo!
Determination.
Well, I'll just tell you, he came downstairs after, 6 or 7 drummers before him that we had been pairing bass players up with and, trying to make the right combination. And he was done. And just like that, the crotchety old teacher said, we're going to stick you on drums. We'll let you in the band. We were floored. We didn't know what the hell to say. The room was destroyed. Everybody looked like they'd been run over by a freight train. And we're like, that's the guy,
I got to play Master of Puppets with him on your guitar because you were taking a leak.
Yeah.
He came down, he jumped in there, he looked at me, he goes, let's play it. And we just started playing it. I'm like, all right, I know this song. Let's go.
Yep.
So Alan, you said you were you're a teacher, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you teach music or what do you teach?
At home, I teach private music lessons. I teach drums, piano, and vocal. And I'm also a special education teacher in the East Aurora School District.
Very cool. So Dan, tell us how you got mixed up with these guys and started singing.
Well, I started singing, I'd say a good 15 years before I crossed the border to come down and hang out with all of these fine Chicago musicians.
You're from Wisconsin, right?
Yes, I am.
Twin Lakes. I remember the Edgewater Beach Hotel there. Used to
Oh
play.
yeah, the Edgewater when it used to be the Edgewater.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I saw Queensryche there in '86 during that snowstorm.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wicked during Rage for Order tour.
Really?
In
That was the
we
day.
walked across. I live right off the channel of Lake Mary, and we walked across that Lake Mary frozen just to get to that concert.
That was the day after they played at the Thirsty Whale.
Yeah,
Same
you
tour.
were telling me about that one, man. Yeah, I know. I banged around in Wisconsin for a long time before I came across, started playing in a lot of Chicago bands, and wound up at the right place, the right time. Really glad, to play in VVX when it was time, because, that's the musicians' band. Best dudes, the baddest players are playing in that band, and so it's like, yeah, you want to be a part of that. That's the way I like to play. Let's do it.
Yeah, there was a rotating cast of members for a little bit there. We had a couple different guitar players, a couple different singers, and then Dan walks into the room. Yeah,
because no one can stand you.
Well, I'm not it's not a pirate ship. I don't make anybody row faster than anybody else or row at all. You don't want to be on my little boat. You can always hop off. But the situation, the situation was, I had a vision, and to lock in with some guys that really wanted to deliver. And, when Dan came in, there really wasn't any question that he was hitting everything that everybody had, done previously, but then brought an entire different level of showmanship and, just a delivery. I got a couple pictures that I wish I could share my screen with, but, Dan Leniger is Dan Leniger. He's got his own, he is the show. It's the Dan Leniger show, whether we're all standing on that stage or not. It's going to happen.
Oh my God.
Right?
You bring the energy, right, Dan?
Yeah. And a long time ago, Dan and I had shared a stage at the old Penny Road pub when Dan was in another band, and I met him many, many years earlier and didn't think much of it then, because that, we were just doing our semi-pop stuff, and he comes out with Mike Badio doing their C4 band. And, everyone's always wowed with Mike Badio. So, hey, there was a singer on that stage. I don't remember that guy. We're all watching Mike do his thing,
So not to leave
set that thing up there for one of those nights.
So not to leave anybody out, but there's two mics in the band.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously a guitar player and a bass player, right?
Yep. Mike, the guitar player, took over for John after John left, and has been a solid and total, an easy replacement. I mean, the guy we gave him 2 weeks to learn 40 songs, and he came out with, 41 songs. We were pretty impressed. So we had a chance to really catch up where we left off in 2 weeks, with one guy leaving that knew everything, and he still subs with us when we can. And then, Mike walked in and took his spot perfectly. And then Mike, the bass player.
Mike who? I'm sorry.
Mike Malanik.
Okay.
Boy, Mike Malanik made us all look bad at the first rehearsal back from the lockdown.
Right.
Seriously, This guy was rehearsing and practicing. He came in and just slayed. I just kept watching him. I'm like, oh my God, dude, you're crushing it over there.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I was like, wow, man. Well, this guy did his homework. I feel like an ass right now. I didn't do anything.
Well, I bet you sang in the shower a little bit, right?
Yeah, around the lake while I'm ice fishing. You get great reverberation when it carries across in the morning. Pretty nice.
God, that's a visual I just got to block out.
Tip up!
And how about Mike the bass player? What's
Moore, the bass player? Choo choo. He drives a train. So
literally,
a metro train. Yep.
Yeah, a metro. So he's
really?
He's got odd hours. We'd get him on here, but he's doing his thing probably.
Well, I always say that the drummer drives the bus, but I guess the bass player drives the train, right?
Yeah.
In this case, literally. Right? Literally. From Harvard to Chicago and back.
He came as a referral. We were, we were probably 5 bass players deep in not only just auditions and everything else, but I ended up at a music store one day over at Good Times Music. And Jimmy over there just said, well, there's this guy. I don't think he's in a band right now. You should call him. I did, not knowing the guy, totally flat. He agreed to come in and rehearse, and it fit. The minute we had him in, he's just, he's definitely one of us. And, we're better because of him. He just has a sound and an approach to playing bass every single sound guy loves. I've never heard anybody get as many compliments as this guy does. He just plays 2 seconds and everyone's like, oh, that sounds great. It just, and he brings it. We just don't let him sing anymore.
So is there any original stuff you guys have written?
Not in this band.
No, neither band, VVX or this, My Metal Heart, have done it. We just always focused on the cover stuff, and it probably should have been something that we should have done with the second half of the pandemic break is, just sit down to see what it feels like to write some stuff. I know Mr. Leniger's got piles of stuff, and we'll get him to open up his kimono someday.
Yeah, gotta dust it off.
Now there's a site that
Yeah.
I know. Come on up.
been out of my head for a while.
Standing there like 2112 in your Geddy Lee kimono.
Oh,
Yeah, you listen to the Rush interviews and they talk about the kimono years where that.
So maybe for some future gig, you guys ditch the black suits and try kimonos.
I'm willing.
oh my God.
Right?
Oh,
So how do we find you? How does anybody out there find the band? A website or Facebook or?
Everything starts and ends at Facebook. It's been the best platform for us to do everything that we need to. It is just www.mymetalheart.com. It just comes right into the page. I don't think you need to be on Facebook to see it. And everything on the event tab will show everything we've got coming up as we post it. I think Empty Barrels just got posted on there.
And you have a fan page as well too.
There's a if you are part of Facebook and you like the band page, you can join the group.
Oh,
So you just on one of those tabs, you go to the group page or and just request. I'll see a request pop up, and we let you in. It's really nothing different than the main page. It's just that you got a lot more people posting, metal videos or other types of stuff that we just don't usually use for marketing material on the main page.
I see.
yeah. The main page is just simply called My Metal Heart. The other page is called My Metal Heart Fans and Friends.
I see. Well, thanks for joining us today, guys.
Yeah,
And,
thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Man.
Some
Thanks for having
great
us.
stuff there, and hopefully we'll be able to get out and see you guys soon.
Yeah, we'll keep in touch. We'll have hopefully as we develop an itinerary and everything ends up smooth sailing and stuff like that, we'll share a beer and we'll laugh about this.
Sure.
Maybe we'll go kimono shopping.
There you go.
I was going to say, we'll see you at the 2021 kimono tour, right?
Brother.
Okay.
Well, thanks again, guys. We appreciate it. And
Thank you for the opportunity, guys.
Continue
All righty,
success
thanks.
with the band.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care, guys.
Jet City. It's a long way home to Jet City. I see your face everywhere. Can't get around.
Okay, that was My Metal Heart. They didn't get to play much during the pandemic, but they're getting ready to gear it up and get out there soon again, aren't they?
Yeah, it's pretty much like everybody has when everybody's just jonesing to get back up on stage and entertain the good people of the area. But it's it's great talking to them guys. Pretty interesting stuff about the VVX years and how they switched over and became My Metal Heart.
Right?
Well.
And Dan from Wisconsin up there.
Yeah, hey there, all the way there up there in Cheeseland. Yeah, don't you know?
So we zipped in. We did the old John Belushi thing, It's like going into Wisconsin. We zip in, we zip out.
That's right.
He was
Go
talking about Czechoslovakia, though. I think in a movie.
Yeah.
It's like going into Wisconsin. We zip in, we zip out.
That's right. Just down the road from the Brat stop.
That's right. That's what we did. We zipped in, we zipped out. We talked to Dan and Alan from My Metal Heart. Some fun stories there. Some sounds like some great guys and a great band.
That's right. Got to get out and see them guys. Hopefully soon.
And be sure and any of you guitar players out there or mandolin players, banjo players, be sure and go out and get yourself some GHS strings. Support our sponsor. And
my banjo playing is sounding much better since I switched strings.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll play for you again sometime.
Okay. I'm in no hurry.
Okay. Hey, and don't forget to check out the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66 in Joliet, Illinois. It's roadtorock.org. Check out the website. Check out what's happening at the museum. Hopefully it'll be open this summer. And while you're at the website, sign up to be a charter member.
Hey, you can also join them on Facebook. Just find out just about every day there's a post out there, something happening. And
That's right.
they're getting things going there, so soon they'll be open.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. We'll see you next week on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Goodbye.
The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast does not own the rights to any of the music that's played on this podcast.
The music is used to promote the band or musicians that are interviewed.
Rock and roll Chicago. Rock and roll